Hey guys, it's Michael, and I really want to talk to you guys about Yixing pots today. And I just want to make a kind of a basic video. I haven't seen many videos. I've been researching this extensively, and in the English space, I don't see any videos really talking in depth about Yixing pots and the variety and the price range. So I kind of want to make a video that can just kind of fill you guys in. So for me personally, I've bought these pots all in China because I do speak a little bit of Chinese, and then I browse a lot of these live streams, and I get access to the Chinese shipping, right? So we can have access to these different pots. But the problem is something I encountered when I first started was that just a huge variety of pots, and it's very hard to decide how to start. All right, so I want to make just like an introductory video about this and cover it as a topic. So first and foremost, when you encounter Asian pots, there's going to be two broad categories they're going to reach, which is half handmade and full handmade. So that's a literal translation from the Chinese banso and quanso. So these pots on this table here, these are mostly half handmade. And technically speaking, I think it's a bad translation, maybe, because they're all handmade, right? And for these pots, what they do is they put it in a mold. So they kind of get the shape out, then they kind of press it into the mold. That's a very bad description, but you can get the picture. But it's all made by hand, but they're kind of one is with mold and the other one is pure freehand. I think probably a better translation would be like a freehand pot versus a molded pot, right? And I want to make a distinction as well because there are a lot of scams in China selling machine-made molds. So like the machine will press the mold. Those are considered trash in China. I mean, yeah, because like the machine can pump those out very, very quickly. And the problem with those using a machine-made and not handmade is that they kind of really press the clay to a point where it's not very breathable and it loses its quality. So yeah, the most the Chinese say is like, oh, if it's not handmade, it's not a Yixing pot. 不是紫砂壶, right? They'll say it's not a 紫砂 pot. It's just a machine porcelain cup, okay? It's not a Yixing clay pot. So you kind of want to look for that as a starting point. So half handmade ones, because of the mold, it requires less technical expertise to create a beautiful looking product. And at the same time, yeah, it's like overall half handmade ones, it's much faster to produce. So you can get this roughly with Chinese prices around the $50-$60 prices. I mean, I guess if you're going overseas, you always have to pay shipping, etc. So that's not counting the shipping. But the price range within half handmade is also quite large as well. So I just want to share a little bit more experience on this video. But I know I need to change the angles, and this is probably not the best angle for this. But something I want to say is like the craftsmanship really does vary between pots. So for example, like this one was a cheaper one. This one's probably around $40. I bought it just because it looked nice. On the surface, it looks okay, but the problem is it feels clunky when you hold it. Like it doesn't feel very well balanced. I feel like the amount of clay that you probably use is a little bit too much. And that's kind of what's causing it to be feeling a little bit more clunky. I mean, experts, they can look at handles, they can look at the attachments and see, how good it is. But, roughly as just a general user, when you first receive it, you'd be like, oh, wow, this is heavier than I expect. It doesn't feel like a fine, piece of teapottery accessory. So I would say look at the weight, look if you like the vibe. I would say like if it feels like a clunky vibe, that's probably not what you want. And also I feel like I have a lot of just choices here, and there's different types of clay. And now especially in China, they're going for like the Huangjing Duan. Like this one was a big mistake that I purchased because like I thought this was cheap, and it's like Huangjing Duan is one of the hottest materials. But I realized if you want to start off, stick with 紫砂, the purple clay. All right, everyone says 紫砂 purple clay for a reason. It's because it's the most versatile one, and you can brew the most types of tea with it. So if you're just starting out and you're just looking for something like this, 紫砂 is your best bet at the start because it's very, very versatile. It doesn't subtract a lot from the tea, because the way these work is that they kind of modify the taste of your tea. And if you over modify it, it might make it bland. It might not be good. You might just want to stick with the Gaiwan, right? This is your standard Gaiwan. Most people should just brew with Gaiwan, but if you want to play, it's quite fun. So So that's a good start, and usually with a good clay, once you pour tea over it, it'll start developing a patina over time. This one is still new. This one I've probably just got for a week or so. So yeah, over time it should develop a patina. If it doesn't, it means your clay is pretty bad in quality. Um, what's kind of interesting I find is that the price range of this can vary by 1 or 2x, and it really depends on post craftsmanship and the details within the pot. So basically the joints, you don't want like a joint to be overly heavy. That's usually the mark of a bad craftsman, where, sorry, I'm coughing a little bit. But if they're not very skilled, they're gonna add a lot of clay to these handles to try to make it look right and then try to stick it on. So that's when you know that the craftsman's not very experienced, and what you want to look for is like very tight corners. And even if you, I think because of the price variation, because of how the market is very, in Chinese is 很深, the 水很深, the water is very deep, because like, there's a lot of people selling, poorly crafted for expensive prices, right? So what you want to look for is a good joint, and just look, magnify, and just really trying to see for a good joint. The second toe is here, like the joint between the lid and the pot. It should be smooth. The distance, like millimeters between this joint, shouldn't be too big. Usually, if that's the case, then it's clunky. And also the curve here. So yeah, these are like kind of the early ones. I'm just trying to see if this video works. Like I feel like there's just no video that really discuss pots in detail, and I really want to invite more people to discuss this. So guys, comment away on what you're looking for when you're starting out your first Yixing pot, and I hope this video helps you. Yeah, with that, guys, I want to wrap this up kind of here. I don't want to discuss too much. Like, this is a little bit more expensive. You can tell by the minor details here. Like they try to like curve out the edges a little bit more. They smoothed it out. The lid, yep, it's not bad. One thing I do want to say is that seals can be very deceptive, because like in ancient practice, a seal meant a lot. But nowadays in modern China, the problem with seals is that there's a lot of seals that people can make. There's no registration for them. So it's like I was talking to one of the vendors, they were saying, oh, a seal, you can just make that for like 3 RMB, right? And you can put whatever name you want on it, right? So unless you're a seal expert, it's very, very hard to verify who made it. And especially with the cheaper price points, it doesn't really matter that much. So that's one thing you don't really need to look at, which is the seal. And I see like a lot of like internet videos say, oh my God, the seal is one of the most important things. Like, effectively in China right now, no one cares until you get to the ultra high end and you can verify, oh my God, this is the exact seal. But even then, it's actually quite sketch, because some old artisans, they sell the seal when they get old, because they're like, oh, I'm not gonna make pots anymore, like, oh, I need to buy a house, right? So there's still a practical element there. I'm not saying that everyone does it, but you hear stories, and it gets very murky in those places. So yeah, seals don't matter as much as people think they do. Like they have seals here, seals on bottom, seals inside. Still look out for it, but I think it relies a lot more on your ability to perceive, like, what is this pot supposed to look at like, and like how these joints are supposed to be made, and compare that to the one that you're buying. That helps a lot. So yeah, with that, guys, I think this is an introductory video. I'm not sure if I should make more. I mean, this is just a side hobby of mine. I usually do other channels on tech and stuff. So yeah, with that, guys, I hope this helps. If it does, leave a comment down below. I'll make a lot more videos, and I do really want to visit Yixing and get some real people there. So I hope you guys can support this and make that possible. So with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.